Martinborough company Wholesale Firewood Supplies is a family business set up in 1983 by Doug and Marilyn Mackenzie. The business has grown rapidly since importing their first multi-tech firewood processing machine from North America in 2008.
Basically, we're taking in the low-value logs from forest operations and we're storing it, seasoning it, drying it and then processing it and selling it in the Wellington region and Greater region. 30-odd years ago, I started myself just cutting manuka, and I'd cut it one day and then the next day I'd take it to Wellington and sell it and then come back and do another one and go back again. But over the years it sort of developed to where we are now, where family got involved in it and it couldn't obviously operate like that anymore, so we started buying logs in and it's gone from there. I could see when the log burners first come on the market that there was going to need a regular, constant supply. That's what got me interested initially, and it's just been a growth market since then. Before we mechanised it, we had 11 on contract that were supplying us with finished product, and we would season it, dry it, do the marketing and sell it through the Wellington region. But we couldn't get a consistent supply. Everyone did their wood in a different way and a different quality, and it got to the stage we couldn't keep up as well. They simply couldn't produce enough. So we looked at mechanising it and we brought our first multi-tech, and it gives us consistent supply. Its quality's 100%. Yeah, it's just revolutionary, and it replaces about 8 to 10 people, that one machine, so we can downgrade now. We've got 6 in the family that are involved in it, not all in this side of it, but in marketing as well. And we have 1 full-time driver and casual drivers during the peak times. Over the years, we've built up a large customer base, and we can now market our timber 12 months of the year. We operate 12 months of the year. People realise now the benefit of getting it in during the spring and early summer, and the quality and the burn time when it comes for next winter. So, yeah, that's a steady trade during the summer months as well. It's a multi-tech processor. Processes 25 metres per hour, although we drop that back because what we do is, to keep the quality up, we've got 2 men on the clean-out pan that grade the wood as it comes through. So it's operated at a speed that they can do their part of the job as well. The logs go onto the live deck. It's taken through into the grapple. The grapple brings it forward, it's cut off, goes into a splitting chamber, and then it's split through, comes out as 8 pieces, and then onto a clean-out pan, which most of the debris, if there's any in there, will fall out. If not, a person will stand there and take it out. And then onto the conveyor up and into the truck. Every piece is cut to the same length, and it's all graded as it goes over the first grade. So what you're getting is a quality product that's all uniform. So we've got Douglas fir, gum and pine. Douglas fir is probably the best during the winter months. The simple fact that it sheds its moisture, it doesn't tend to absorb. Once you've seasoned it, it doesn't absorb any more moisture. So any time of the year, middle of winter, great timber to buy, yeah. The gum is very similar, but pine is absorbent and it does tend to reabsorb moisture during the winter months. So the pine, definitely try and get it during the summertime and season it from there. It needs to breathe under an eave or in a carport that's got air circulation, that's fine, but just don't lock it up in a shed. The timber behind me is basically reject. There's no market for gum in the lower North Island, so we tend to get that. And the pine's all low-grade timber, or otherwise it would be left behind. We take that. The macrocarpa, anything that's not millable, there's no other market for it, so we get that. It's a low-cost product. And the Douglas fir, again, it's anything that's not millable or low-grade, then we take that as well. We buy logs 12 months of the year. It's on what blocks are working at the time, and what's available is what we'll take. And we know the logs in the yard, where they are, how long they've been here, and the woods vary between, on the species of tree that it is, between 12 months and 3.5 years. So took us quite a few years to work that out, but we know the seasoning and the times that it takes now. And it's best left in log form because it sheds the water. When it rains, it sheds the water naturally over the outside of the tree, and the internals still basically dry, yeah, or well seasoned. This block, for example, is a high percentage of reject log, which would otherwise be left, that can now be turned into firewood. There's really no market for that type of wood except for someone like us that's going to do something with it. as long as you can get on logging truck anyway.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the machine will take that, so it's not a problem. On a site like this, they go through, and a good example is they've got different stacks of logs, export or saw log, and then you've got all the wastage. Now, the wastage, if it wasn't utilised by people like us, they would simply be left there to rot, or otherwise thrown down a gully.
Still to go, but there's still quite a bit of material in here that would
it looks good. Yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah.
We'll have that, not a problem at all.
Yeah.
Doing Manuka only when I first started, but the Manuka honeys now come in, and it's more valuable for the farms to actually keep the Manuka on their farms and get a revenue from the honey itself. So that's basically made Manuka too valuable for us to actually deal in. So we've basically pretty well left the Manuka alone, and the gums have really taken the place of that. It's a hardwood, and the burn time is very similar, and it's a lot better value for the customer.
This program was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.